Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to Shifting Lanes. My name is Hanson. Thank you so much for tuning in. And you find me sitting in a 2020 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon. Don't think of this as a Wrangler with a 5-foot bed. Think of this as a Wrangler that's been stretched out by a lot. It has a longer wheelbase, 18.9 inches longer compared to the Wrangler Unlimited, and over 40.5 inches over the two-door Wrangler. As a result, you get a lot more utility and a lot more room, but you're also taking some off-road sacrifices. How big of a sacrifice? I'll get into that a little bit later. But more importantly, is this a good Jeep? Oh, yeah, it's a good Jeep. This is a big Jeep, and because it's big, there's a lot more of it to love. And it's been designed to take on the Toyota Tacoma, the Chevy Silverado, the Ford Ranger, and also the Nissan Frontier. That thing is still around, believe it or not. And in my opinion, the midsize pickup truck is the sweet spot for all vehicles. Now, what do I mean by that? All things considered about driving, getting around, hauling things, getting things done, parking, and everything that you need to do with a vehicle, the midsize pickup truck is the jack of all trades. You have a higher seating position, you can haul a lot of things, you can park a little bit easier compared to a full-size pickup truck, and you can also tow a lot more compared to your crossovers. With the Gladiator, everything that you love about the JL Wrangler can be found here in the JT Gladiator. But the best part is that with the Gladiator, you can tow up to 7,650 pounds. All while still having the same hardware as the Wrangler. It still has front and rear locking differentials, detachable sway bars so you can get more articulation, Dana 44 axles, skid plates, and you still have detachable roof and also door panels. As for the interior, you'll find the same equipment and design as the JL Wranglers. If you haven't been inside a 2018 Jeep Wrangler or newer yet, the JL platform has massively upgraded the interior design a lot. All the switchgear buttons feel very high quality. The instrument cluster has a full color display that you can customize. You can even show the inclinometer, so it measures the pitch and roll of the vehicle. Very helpful when you're off-roading. And the centerpiece of this interior is this available 8.4-inch Uconnect system. The more cars I test that has the Uconnect system, the more I like it. Mainly because of how feature-packed it is. I like how the screen looks crisp and high quality, almost like a smartphone, and also how customizable it is. For example, this Gladiator comes with a forward-facing trail cam. That's a $600 option. You could place a camera right in front of the 7-slot grill, and I like to put the shortcut button to that camera in this lower right-hand corner. That means that I could just click on that and it shows me the forward-facing view so that if I'm parking in tight spaces or if I'm going through the off-road trails, I could see what's in front of me. And also the best part of this camera is that because this is facing forward, you're going to get a lot of crap on there. And I could quickly clean the camera so I could get a better view. And also I could switch between the reverse camera so that I could see what's behind me, and what's even better is that it shows me the trajectory of the wheels and the car so that I know where my vehicle is going when I'm turning. And if you don't like the Uconnect system, then you can always plug in your iPhone or your Android phone, because this thing comes with an available Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And the best part of that is that when you have it plugged in, you still have access to the shortcut buttons. You do have heated seats and heated steering wheel, and the best part of that is that there are physical buttons on the dash here. Now, this is a big sticking point for me because most FCA cars, they don't have these physical buttons. Instead, they embedded those controls within the touchscreen. And I think that's just a stupid way of doing it, because when it's cold, you're probably wearing gloves, and depends on how thick those gloves are, you can't use the touchscreen with that. And here it's simple, there's physical buttons, and I wish more FCA vehicles have that permanently on the dash as opposed to that being on the screen. As for the engine, you'll find the good old 3.6 liter Pentastar V6. That engine has been in everywhere. It's been around for the longest time, and aftermarket support is very good for that engine, and you know that there's good reliability in there. For 2020, this being the first year that the Gladiator comes out, there's only one engine option, and you can only get that V6, which makes 285 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. My mileage around town and some highway has been around 17 miles to the gallon. That's par for the course for these V6s. Now, the JL Wrangler, which came out in 2018, now has 3 engine options. You get the V6, you have the Turbo 4, and now you also have the 3-liter Eco Diesel. Now, real-world testing just came out for the mileage for the Eco Diesel, and they've been rated at 22 city, 29 highway, and 25 mixed. I have driven that diesel engine in the Ram 1500 Eco Diesel. If you want to see my review of that, please click the link up here. And I just love how torquey and smooth that engine was. I'm very certain that that engine will become available for the Gladiator, and I think it's going to be super popular whenever that comes out. For the transmission, this thing has an 8-speed transmission from ZF. This is the 850RE. You find these 8-speed transmissions everywhere. A lot of manufacturers are adopting the transmission, and that's because it shifts super fast and super smooth, and it's also better for fuel efficiency. You still can get the 6-speed manual transmission, so at this point I want to ask you guys, the viewers, which one do you prefer? Do you prefer the manual transmission or automatic transmission for off-road purposes? So all of this is very good. What are some of the drawbacks? Well, the most glaring one is this longer wheelbase. And longer wheelbases mean smaller breakover angles, or that's the maximum angle to drive over without bottoming out. The two-door Wrangler Rubicon has a breakover angle of 27.8 degrees. The Gladiator's is 20.3. That's a difference of 7.5 degrees. On top of that, given the rear overhang of the Gladiator's bed, the departure angle, that's the maximum exit angle, also takes a hit at 26 degrees. Compared to the two doors, 37 degrees. That's an 11 degree difference. Turning radius is also compromised. You'll lose about 5 feet in turning radius compared to the two-door Wrangler. So yeah, you have to be a bit more careful off-roading the Gladiator compared to the two-door Wrangler because physically it's a larger Jeep. There's also the price differential. You're obviously getting a lot more hardware here in the Gladiator, so you're going to be paying $5,250 more compared to the base two-door Wrangler. This Gladiator Rubicon is not at all cheap. This one that I'm sitting in has been spec'd out to $62,000. This is not the most expensive vehicle from Jeep though. If you want to see me review a $100,000 Jeep, please click the link up here. So how does it drive? Well, it drives a lot better compared to the 2- and 4-door Wranglers. The added length of the wheelbase really works out in the ride's favor. This drives a bit more stable. Sometimes when I'm driving the 2-door Wranglers, a good stiff crosswind driving on the highway could really upset the vehicle. But with the Jeep Gladiator, it absorbs a lot of those disturbances a bit better. How does this compare to other mid-sized trucks? Well, what makes the Wrangler great for off-road is really what makes it not so great on-road. This has live front and rear axles, which means that the left and right wheels are somewhat conjoined to each other. So driving over potholes and joints on the highways can be a bit jarring because you feel a lot of sideways motion. There's also a floatiness to the ride and handling of the Jeep. There's a vagueness in the steering, especially when you're driving on the highway at speed. This Gladiator also comes with some chunky all-terrain tires, and considering how not aerodynamic the shape of the Jeep is, it can be pretty noisy in this cabin when driving at highway speeds. But this all comes with the territory. All the drawbacks and all the capabilities is what gives Jeep its character. It's why people keep coming back and buying these vehicles. It's a Jeep thing. It's why Jeep drivers keep waving to each other, and I just love that. Other mid-sized trucks are going to ride better. Crossovers will definitely drive a lot better than this. But with the Jeep Gladiator, now you could go to a hardware store, you could buy a full-size barbecue grill, you could strap it into the bed, and you could drive the Rubicon Trail and make your own lunch at the Granite Bowl. And that's what I love about the Jeep Gladiator, is that everything that you love about the JL Wrangler, you can find it here, and it has a lot more utility thanks to that 5-foot bed. Yeah, you do take a little bit of a hit in the off-road capability because the approach angle, the breakover angle, the departure angle, and also the turning radius have all taken a hit thanks to the lengthened wheelbase, but I'm willing to bet that most off-roaders aren't even going to care about that too much. If they're really serious about rock crawling, they're most likely buying the 2-door Wrangler instead of the 4-door stretched out big Wrangler, the Jeep Gladiator. So there you have it. That's my review of the 2020 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you learned something from this video, please consider hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe, and also hitting that notification bell so you can get notified anytime we make a new video. I'm going to wrap it up right there. My name is Hanson. This has been the 2020 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon, and I'll see you next time.